Go.
Hello, my name is Silvino.
My name is Luis, and today we're going to be presenting on the unfair bias against foreign cars.
We want to start off by asking Frank a question. Have you ever wanted something but weren't able to have it? Why?
Currently, I want $7,000. And I don't know. I don't get it. Do you have $7,000?
No.
What's the case?
He has $7,000.
No, I thought we were signing up for $7,000.
Alright, so these are some key terms we want to go over before we start the presentation. So, tuner.
Tuner is basically it could be one person or a group of people who basically just fix their cars for fun.
Next one is car culture. Car culture is basically like the group of car enthusiasts that like to let's say admire your car, or let's say you have a Chevrolet Impala, you're like, oh, nice car. Yeah, basically it. And show and display is a law that we're going to talk about later on in the presentation, but it's an important key term that we want to go over. Then the EPA is the Environmental Protection Agency, which is a government agency that cares about the environment. So they protect against pollutants and stuff. And the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, they regulate the border, what comes in, what comes out. They regulate trade, and they see if the stuff coming into the United States is legal.
And if you bring in an illegal car, and they see it's illegal, they'll basically take the car away and just crush it. One story that happened before was a person. He basically decided to buy an R34, which is an illegal car in the United States. He bought it from Japan, and then he imported it to Canada. And then from Canada, he passed it through Arizona, and then since in Arizona it's easier to import cars, he passed it through. He got some fake license plates for another car. So then later on, 2 years later, he decided to come to California. He came to California, then he got caught with it. The cops stopped him. They saw that the license plates weren't from the car that it says it was. So they basically crushed the car. He went to court, and then they gave him 25 years in jail for having the car.
Alright, so another incident is the Mississippi Sylvia. So there was a guy named Kendall Noble who's from Mississippi. He wanted to import Sylvia S15. So what he did is import it to Canada and drive it all the way down from Canada to Mississippi, because that was the only way you could do it. So since he did that, that's illegal, and Border Protection found him, and they arrested him because he smuggled an illegal car into the United States, and he was faced with 18 to 20 years in jail and fined over $50,000. So these are some of the research questions that we came up while researching our topic. First one is, why are some foreign vehicles not allowed to be imported to the United States? And the second question is, how has the car culture dealt with the laws and restrictions implemented that ban the importation of some foreign vehicles? Alright, so this is ways of importing. So there's two ways, obviously. One is the legal way, and then the other one is the illegal way. So the legal way is by going to car importers. They do the paperwork for you. So they go to, let's say Japan, and they buy the car over there. So then what they do is take it on the ship, and they pay all the fees, and they talk with Border Protection and the EPA to see if it's able to be imported. And then when it's here in the United States, they just drop it off. You have to go to the DMV and get the VIN and the license plates, and you're basically good.
For the illegal way for smuggling through land is basically the easiest way is basically get buying it from Japan, and also try to import it through Arizona, because in Arizona they really don't check regulations. And then if you go to get insurance for it, they never go out to see the car. They'll always just give you insurance. Then through C, they also say that just buy a paper saying it's a Toyota or something, a basic car, because they also wouldn't usually check inside the carriers to see what's in it, so there'll be another way to bring in the car.
Alright, so 25-year rule. This is basically the rule that restricts some cars. So it's set to 25 years because the EPA thought that it'd be like a good amount of years to for a car to be deemed legal in the United States. So this law was passed by the EPA and with the help of Mercedes-Benz. So they basically deemed some vehicles that weren't made in the United States illegal, which meant that if there was a Japanese version of a car and there wasn't a United States version of a car, then you couldn't import it, and the EPA said no, so you can't import it until 25 years after it was made.
Show and display law is a law based. Its law was passed in May 13, 1999. The first car that was passed with this law was this car, which was worth $959. And this law was helped passed by Bill Gates because he had this car, but he really wanted it to come to the United States for him to have it. But all you can do with this law is basically what it says. You can only have it like for show. All you can do is like show it off and stuff, but you can't really drive it until the 25 years have passed. Then you can drive it. My mentor works for this place, Japanese Classics. It basically helps you import cars legally. So it's like a small place. So they go to Japan. They go to Japan. They buy the cars, and then they bring them here for people to buy. It usually costs like $4,000 to bring your car into the United States. So you'll end up paying around the same thing as for a regular car, like $22,000 to $30,000. Some of the things we talked about were like the regulations they had, and they said they had to do with the 25-year law and show on display. So if you wanted, they could help you bring a car. So all you have it for that to show it off, or you wait 25 years, unless you want to take out some parts to make it like, safer for people to drive.
My mentor was Doug DeMuro. He's a writer for Jalopnik, and he imported this Nissan Skyline R32, which was legal in like the 2010s. So once this car was legal, Doug DeMuro wanted to import the vehicle. So what he did is go to Japanese Classics and contacted them so they could do the imports and cover all the fees and work with all the paperwork. So once he did that, he got the car in Florida, and once it was in Florida, he drove all the way down to pick up the vehicle. When he picked it up, all he had to do was just get a VIN number for it and his license plate, and that's basically it for the legal part of the process. Alright, so one of our solutions is that the government imports the vehicles for themselves to the United States and sells them at their own dealership, because I feel like if the government is the one selling it, then they could include like a tax rate or something for individuals that want to buy the cars, and it'll produce like income, and it'll like balance out the car community.
This will also help our society as a whole, because basically it's bringing money in, and it also saves the government money in the long run. Because if more people start bringing cars illegally, they'll go to jail and they'll more likely face like 20 years in prison. And to keep a person in prison, it takes over $60,000 per year. So in the long run, they'll lose more money just by keeping people in jail and just making this legal, and them selling the cars for the amount of money they want. And then something we think is like we don't find fair is like how people could like buy a pair of shoes basically from another country without problem with their own money, and then they can buy a car like online and with their own money that they saved up and they really want to have.